feeling depressed is real. I do not believe it's a disease that you catch from the sky and you cannot affect. I believe that feeling depressed is real. I don't believe depression as a clinical disease is real, no. I think PTSD is very real. Unfortunately, I have some friends who suffer from that. I know that feeling depressed is real.
Andrew Tate has said many controversial things over the years, but the most problematic thing he said has to be about depression. He said in an interview that he believes that people do feel depressed and under the weather, but there's no such thing as clinical depression because that's just an excuse for weak people to justify their weakness. He believes that those who are strong simply wake up, get over what they're feeling, and they continue to hustle no matter what. If every single person in the world would just blame everything they do on depression, how is this world ever going to function? He also thinks that the only way you can get over depression is taking complete control of your mind and emotions. Once you do that, you will be the master of what and how you feel certain things. According to Andrew, only emotionally and mentally weak people go through depression because strong people never allow themselves to feel that way. He also believes that you don't necessarily have to be the victim in your own story because all you need to do is just wake up and fight that feeling of depression because that's what strong people do. Those who want to achieve something in life don't rely on excuses like depression because they don't have time for it. He put forward an explanation about his stance and said that most people who go through clinical depression feel that way because of certain situations in their life. So if we eliminate those situations, they would stop feeling depressed. He thinks that it really isn't a medical problem but a social one, and that it can be solved without much medical attention.
I believe that the number one power you have against these things are trying to take control of your own mind and affecting your own life. I believe that it's not healthy to hand over all your power and believe that depression is an outside disease that you can't affect. I know that when I've had difficult periods in my life, and also many of my friends, like I've said, suffer from PTSD and been through terrible things. I've lived a very difficult life, and I know people who have, that the things that made them feel better is when they woke up and said, you know what, I'm not gonna allow this to damage me anymore, I'm gonna take responsibility. If someone comes to me and says I'm clinically depressed or I feel very, very sad, I would say the first thing you need to do is stop accepting the identity of a clinically depressed person. Stop accepting you have no control over this. And what you need to do is stop identifying that way and let's work together. Thousands of people who have emailed me saying my doctor told me I was clinically depressed and it's a disease that I have got in my brain and I can't be fixed. And I started listening to you and I realized that that's not the case and I can fix my own life. I believe feeling depressed is real. I do not believe it's a disease that you catch from the sky and you cannot affect. That no matter what happens, I believe you have control of your own mind and you can fight against it. I believe if you change your circumstances in your life, you may feel different. I'll give you a quick example. I had a guy who emailed me saying he was clinically depressed and he was going to kill himself. I obviously am not a psychiatrist, I'm not a doctor. I told him, because I replied to my emails. I said, have you been to a psychiatrist? He said, yes, I'm clinically depressed. I've been on these pills, this amount of time. I'm on antidepressants, it doesn't work. I said, I don't know what to say to you besides this. And he said he lost his girlfriend, that's why I became clinically depressed. I said, listen, go to the gym, get a six-pack first. Once you've got a six-pack, email me again. If you still feel like killing yourself, I don't know what else to say. I'd say, strong body is a strong mind, go train. He went, he started sending me progress pictures, emailing me him getting in better shape, and eventually got a six-pack. He's now a professional bodybuilder. And he said, I can't believe I was considering that. I feel so much better, etc. The doctor who was telling him he was clinically depressed and couldn't cure it, he started taking control of his own life, and now he felt better. I disagree that if you feel depressed, I disagree that you cannot affect it and change your life and take control and fix yourself and feel happier. I refuse to accept that there are people out there who cannot become happy, contented individuals. I refuse to accept we live in a world where God has created people who, no matter how hard they work and how good their life becomes, can't be happy. I don't accept that. I accept that the universe is a very giving place and that God loves all of us. And if you try your best and you work hard, you can become a better person. And I also will argue with you and I'll counter the point that you sitting here on your platform telling people they have clinical depression, there's nothing they can do about it. I would argue the point that if somebody has depression of any kind, whether it's clinical, whether it exists or not, whether they feel depressed or not, whatever, that taking control of their life, taking personal responsibility and working hard is always going to be the positive, best thing they can possibly do for their life going forward. So sitting here saying, I don't believe in clinical depression, you don't believe in depression. No, I don't. I believe that people can take control and fight against things. Right. I believe in personal sovereignty.